everybody. Welcome back to Married to Medicine, Season 12, Episode 4. Continue back at the episode where it was birthday party of Brandy, and we see how it all got, out of control with everyone else is in their marriage issues. And now we're seeing Simone back on that same train of her and Cecil. And, because Cecil doesn't have her back with the kids. And now we see how frustrated Simone is. And the ladies are trying to get her to stop talking about it. But I feel like Simone actually should have divorced Cecil. When she was in that other home, Simone was happy. And as much as I don't want to see marriages fail, but sometimes you got to know when to let it go. And it looks like they need to have another major talk. Cecil should have supported her in that moment. Your son spending $60,000 on a credit card that he's not paying back, that's out of control. And that's not something I should support. But that does come back down to parenting. Cecil and Simone should have stopped that. Now, after all the chaos with, everyone else's relationship, we finally get to see Brandy's birthday be celebrated. And right now, I am not liking this type of Dr. Contessa. Girl, so what? It was a few $1,000s and she happy about it. What are you so mad that? Why are you so mad that she's happy about what her husband did for her? Just because she didn't spend $40,000 or a little bit more does not mean she did not enjoy her birthday. Now, she probably didn't enjoy it because of you and your shenanigans with your man, but that's her day and that's what she wanted and that's what he did. So what are you mad about? It ain't your relationship. Stay out of it. Now, while the ladies are still taking birthday shots, we get to see Dr. Simone and Dr. Heavenly, have a heart-to-heart, which is what I like to see from Dr. Heavenly instead of her being in everybody else's business. Her talk about her family life. And yes, it should have hurt you that your son and your husband did not inform you that he was arrested. And even during their talk, Simone did say something, smart. We created the monster. We can't be mad at the monster. You're right. Those are the creations that y'all have created. You've given them everything because you didn't have everything. And now it's little disrespects here and there that's hindering you all's relationship. And after Brandy's party, we do get to the next scene and we see Toya and, Eugene. They're walking, they're talking because now Eugene does have some time off, paying for all those expenses because that house is expensive. And I get why Eugene got to work 7 days a daggone week. We get to see Eugene and Toya discuss, working in the same office building as Dr. Contessa and her husband. Now, Toya doesn't like it. She doesn't like the space. But I feel like Eugene is like, look, I'm already month to month on this lease. It's already up. So to move into something, he's just ready to be somewhere where his patients can go. And I kind of get a point with Dr. Contessa. Eugene's patients will be somewhere else as they have to enter a room. So, it won't be as crowded as Toya is thinking it will be, where Eugene will need this big, gigantic exam room. But their conversation also does just boil down to the fact that, Toya wants Eugene to make more money, but also be at home more too. And Toya, I don't see how that can be plausible because the more money he makes, he may have to travel just a little bit further to make that more money. Sometimes that's just not a valuable source. But I do understand Toya. She wants her man home more. She wants to spend more time with him so the marriage can actually work out versus her being, a single married mother. But that also means that he may have to go ahead and get that storage room that Dr. Contessa carved out so he can be home more for you. Now, in this next scene, we are at Dr. Jackie's office and Quad and King pull up. And we all know that Dr. Jackie is assisting Quad and King in the IVF journey for her to be able to have children. And after that little tidbit of seeing Quad's uterus, we then get to see Dr. Mimi and her husband and their family. I guess they're going on their little adventure for the day. Now, as they're having their family outing, we see them discuss, the children's, we see them discuss their conditions. Son has been diagnosed with some form of autism. And we do see the dynamics of sometimes how it affects the entire family, with the behavior that went on in the back with the kids and how they have to handle it day to day. Now, in this next scene, we see Toya. She's having a skip workday party. And, Eugene's going to be there as well. And upon going over the guest list, which seems like everybody's coming, Toya reveals that she's been very hesitant with letting the ladies in her home. And I can see why. Every time somebody enters my home, somebody has to discuss how I got it, where I got it, what I may or may not have done. And I necessarily wouldn't invite you over to my home either if that's how you really going to feel. And then we also learn, sometimes Toya, you kind of do start stuff. So like Eugene said, when you did text to the group, whose fake ass Balenciaga bag is this? And it just so happened to be Dr. Heavenly. You already know Heavenly going to come back and say something. So you didn't have to say it like that. Eugene was right. You didn't have to say it like that. But, Heavenly came back Of course, with one of her zingers, at least my house paid off. But of course, they're going to have their back and forth. And, Heavenly, blah, 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 blah. Heavenly, your house should be paid off. It's old, the back and forth between them. Now, as some of the couples arrive to Toya's house or on their way to Toya's house, they do discuss what happened in the group chat between Toya and Heavenly. And I'm with Dr. Mimi's husband. Why is that even a topic of conversation in this group chat? Now, as people are arriving and the party is getting started, we love to see Toya. Toya is always talking some kind of trash to somebody, is in her house. We see Dr. Simone and Cecil arrive. We see the guys, kicking back. Eugene's finally home. He can spend some time in the house. And we see the other ladies arrive. And as the people are serving food, now we get to see out these guys, these half-naked guys with just, bikini bottoms on, serving food. And now we all know Toya, she got to do a lot. She has to do the most. It's her home. It's her money. Let's not act like Toya don't always have like a semi-little surprise at her parties. Now, as the party continues to go on, we see the naked men walking around. We see the guys laughing at the naked men. And then, of course, they start to get served by another woman in a bikini. And then we start to see the rest of the ladies arrive. Dr. Contessa and her husband arrive. And then we see Toya take everybody on a tour of her new home. Now, after the tour of the home, we see that Toya comes out. She checks on the guys. And now they're going to, start a game between the guys and the girls. Now, during the beginning of the game and how she's explaining the game, we all see Toya, get just a little bit too demanding. I'll say she was just a little bit too demanding. She wanted all eyes on her. But we also, let's remember, we also understand sometimes when Toya just gets just a little bit too excited, she does just a little bit too much. And, Eugene has to kind of like reel her in, like, calm down. We're all just having fun. And I'm kind of with the guys on this one. Why do I need to do a strenuous activity when this is what Dr. Ditch Day, or we ditching work today? I didn't come here to work. I came here to relax and drink. And as we continue to watch, we see Toya actually get upset. And, it didn't have to get that. It didn't have to go that far, Toya. Okay, that's something you could have talked to Eugene about after the party. But, that activity, it wasn't warranted. You really didn't need to do that activity when everybody's there to actually just relax from work. Now, after their arguments and Toya storms off, which Toya does need to do, Toya needs to walk off and calm down a bit. We see how the other couples are watching and discussing their relationship. I do agree. Toya and Eugene can benefit from some couples counseling. Toya just a little bit more, because Eugene, he does try to talk, he does try to make sense, but Toya, sometimes she's so emotional and passionate that it's going to come off as anger. It's definitely going to be a bit more aggressive, and sometimes that's not how discussions operate. You both have to have some level of calmness so you can both hear and be able to respond correctly towards one another. Now, as Eugene is downstairs talking to everyone else, we see Toya, Dr. Contessa, and another one of Toya's friends is there comforting her as she's calming down. And, she wants Dr. Heavenly and her husband to leave, because we see that Dr. Heavenly, from Toya's perspective, tried to egg on the argument between Toya and Eugene. Now, although the disagreement should not have happened at all, I agree with Toya, but I would have stopped it right then, because once I hear you trying to egg this discussion or this disagreement on between me and my man, because can't nobody make me do anything, I'm going to immediately stop and ask you to just go. And then me and my husband going to go back to having that conversation. Like, can't nobody push the argument even further with me and my man. Now, after watching the recap between Heavenly and Mimi, because she also wants Mimi to leave, which I don't think so, but okay, fine, whatever. It's your house, Toya. Heavenly may have said some off-the-wall stuff, but I don't think it was necessarily egging it on, but it was disrespectful in that moment. And I don't think Mimi had anything to do with it. I think Mimi was trying to, they were all trying to get her to like stop and calm down. Like, you didn't, like I said, that conversation, that discussion, that disagreement didn't have to happen between you and Eugene in that moment. Toya just put 20 on 10 and then got in her feelings because everybody wanted to relax instead of doing any other activities. And that's what the party was about. So everybody should have just continued to relax. But now, after the ladies do talk to Toya, they do get her to talk to Eugene because of how explosive the argument went. But in Toya fashion, when she goes outside, she does make the announcement, of course, with folks not being her friends. And I just I think she's just in her feelings right now. But she makes the announcement of the supposed people to leave. And now because you're in your feelings and you still have not calmed down, you have now turned that party into something totally different than what it was supposed to be. Party didn't have to have negative energy, but you pushed it further because you weren't willing to just calm down and just let certain things go in the moment. And I will say this about Toya too. You don't want people talking behind you. You don't consider them friends because you're upset in the moment. But at the same time, you orchestrated that entire scene for them to talk about. Like, what do you expect me to do if this is supposed to be a party and you and your husband are arguing in front of everybody? And as your friend, if I see the issues, I'm going to come tell you about it and I'm going to tell you how to handle it. I mean, that's what friends do. And I feel like that's what they were trying to do. And even in this moment, I can't agree with Toya being tired of people having stuff to say about her life and her marriage, but you kind of gave them ammo when that argument happened in front of people or inside your house. You know what type of people they are. You know they're going to say some things. And as the episode ends, the conversation is about Heavenly, about what Heavenly has done, what Heavenly has said. But y'all still choose to be around her. Y'all still choose to be her friends. So that's something that, that's on you. That's on y'all because that's who y'all still be in company with. But like that, the episode ended. So let me know what you think. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.